Alright, hello, everybody. I am going to be... There we go. Where'd my Krita go? Pop back up, please. Krita? Krita? What are you doing, Krita? Come on. There we are. Okay, yeah, so I kind of had to shrink the window down a little bit because Krita is really weirdly proportioned. So I just kind of put the I have hired this dog to stare at you at the bottom in the meantime. I had to readjust some things like the chat to fit better. But yeah, today we're kind of just going to be having a nice chill day. Just going to be drawing, doing whatever. We're probably going to start off with, what was I going to say? Oh, we were going to start off with probably some stuff relating to, I think I was going to do, like, Canastrian stuff first with the Caliverse. So I am going to just create a new document here. I'm not sure how noisy this is going to be because I am going to be using my drawing tablet. But we are just going to be having a nice chill day. Feel free to, like, you know, ask about world building stuff, whatever. I'll probably be yapping in the meantime, too. I wish my chair was shorter. The fucking arms of it make it annoying to get my drawing tablet out. Let me move my keyboard. There we go. Ignore the loud sounds of my drawer opening and closing. But yeah, we're probably just going to be... starting off with drawing some Caliverse stuff. Let me open somewhere in my various folders here. Caliverse. Here we are. I think today we'll probably just start with drawing some Canastrians because it's been a good while since I've drawn, like, creature. So I am just going to... Hold on. Gotta name my layers. Rough sketch. So that's just going to be... Dude, it undoes the naming when I undo that. You gotta be kidding me. I'm gonna save it real quick. There we go. Okay, it is saved. But yeah, I hope y'all are doing alright today. I am having a nice chill afternoon. Oh my god, dude, I cannot for the life of me. Why did my fucking tab... Oh my god, hold on, y'all. I keep having holdups because my tablet buttons decided to completely reset what they do for some reason. Let me just go... Can I set this to undo, please? Undo. Set this to redo. Let's set this to... zoom in and zoom out. Can I save this keybind mapping, please? Okay, I guess not, but hopefully that actually works now. Sorry about all the holdups, y'all. There we go. Okay. I can much easier undo things now. God, this tablet's getting worn out. I need a new one. That's for when I get money, though. Also, let me know if the music is too quiet or too loud at any point. I'm just trying to make sure that it remains, like, audible. I'm probably going to start off just by drawing some of the Canastrians, which are the doggy people. The ones that are Cali's species. The dog tars. I think I'm going to start off with just a simple... I don't like how this is looking. I think I mispositioned the ears is the issue. Let me undo that. But yeah, I'm going to be starting off by drawing some canastrians, probably. But I'll definitely be probably spending time doing a bunch of other stuff, too. We'll probably just rotate between, like, you know... There's music. You can't hear it? It shows up on my desktop audio that it's coming through. Okay, I'm taking that as a sign I need to turn it up. Is that any better? Please let me know. It should hopefully be audible. Okay, good. But yeah, so we are probably going to be just rotating between projects today. But we're definitely just going to start off by drawing some... canastrians, probably. And this is just a rough sketch, too, so, like... I shouldn't be fussing this much over it because it is a rough sketch, but, like... I do want to make the sketch look somewhat good. Let's see here. I'll probably just go with the usual kind of... No, that doesn't look very much like a neck at all. I'm so bad at drawing necks. That's about the best I could do for at least a rough sketch. Let's see here. But yeah, they're definitely gonna have some fluffy hair, too. God, this feels loud. Maybe it's because of my audio balancing. I don't know. Let me know how the volume is, rather, obviously. But, because I cannot tell for the life of me. Let's go... Let's go for a kind of shorter cut type thing. That looks good. Dude, what is going on with my... Why is it drawing so big? That's better. Not quite. No, come on. There we go. I wonder if it's acting up because I'm streaming it. It sometimes... It feels like it might be, but I don't know. It's not too big of a deal. I think the nose is a little far down. There we go. Let's put that a little further up there. Not quite. Something's looking off about it, but I don't know what. Let's see. Let's go for... The face just looks wrong. I'm gonna restart that kinda... I'm gonna restart that rough sketch there. Because I want to make sure I can get... Hold on, let me open my Kali ref real quick. Just so I can get a better reference as to the snout shape and stuff. Yeah, because Kali's got a kind of rounder snout. So I think that's what I gotta go for. Is something that's more... Like, let me just copy Kali's head onto there. Just put them off to the side. Because then I can kind of go for the same kind of snout shape of the, like... The kind of... I almost want to say, like, bean-shaped snout. I'd say that's a pretty accurate assessment, because they have a kind of chunky snout, almost. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it. I'd say that's a pretty good way to put it, yeah. Let's see here. Because I don't want to make them obviously exactly look like Kali, but, like, I want to get the proportions close enough. Let's just go for... let's position the eyes. That's pretty close, yeah. I'm gonna move the eye a little bit in, I think. Because they're a little up to the left of the snout. That works well. And then they kind of got the little... They got the characteristic little tufts on the side of their face of fur. And because Kali's got kind of a softer face, so it's going to move a little out there for them, but not for your average Canastrian, probably. But the ears do need to remain large, so I'm probably going to just kind of do similar proportions. No, because it's still off. Why is it still off? I think the eye is too far over. Let me put this on top of the Kali layer. Yeah, it's definitely the eye that's the issue. So let's take that. Move that. That's definitely a lot better, yeah. Let's get that bit trimmed off there, even though it is the rough sketch, I know. Dude, oh my goodness. I gotta adjust my pressure on this thing or something, because it keeps on drawing really thick lines. But yeah, that should work well for that position there. Erase some of that. That's the wrong way. That's close. I think that's actually pretty close to how it would realistically look. I'm really bad at drawing like furry faces, let alone human ones. I don't know. probably just gonna do the little tufts there, too. Because that would probably be coming down like that, probably. I'm really bad at drawing ears from the other side. That looks pretty close to what I think it would look like. And then Canastrians do not have those horns, so I don't have to worry about those. But I do have to make sure the ears connect properly to the head. I'd say it looks pretty solid for a head. And then the nose goes like... No, not that, not like that. Not quite. No, not quite. No, not quite either. Oh my goodness, come on. Come on, man, I could draw this right once. Like, right? Right? Oh my goodness, dude. I'm, like, having difficulties drawing this fucking nose. Come on. I made it too small that time, I think. Let me, once again, just compare and contrast. So yeah, I did make the head smaller than Callie's, which is what I was going for. But the snout, the nose should go, like, right there, yeah. It's still a little off, but I think this one is a good shape, so I could definitely salvage it. I think right there, at least for now, that looks pretty good. And then the little :3, the mouth, not really visible with the big, thick, rough lines that I have right now, but yeah. And then their neck, Callie's neck is again pretty thick, so I gotta, like, extrapolate from that. The only reason this guy's bald as hell right now is because this is the rough sketch, so I'm not worrying too much about, like, hairstyle yet, as this is meant to kind of just be a base Canastrian. So I think I'm gonna hide the Callie ref for now. This is just gonna be rough sketch. And then I'm going to make a clean sketch layer real quick. Who is messaging me? Okay, it's a group chat. Never mind. Let me... What do I want to do here? I think... I just want to try and make it look clean right now, I think. Let me turn down my brush size. That's probably the issue. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That should be good. Yeah, Yeah, there we go. And then we gotta draw the little inner ring of the eye. Beautiful. That's what I'm talking about, yeah. Gotta make the ears bigger than that. No, that's too small. No. I could do this. No, not quite. Because I do want the ears to have a little more volume. Like that. That just feels like too basic of a shape. Because the ears should have a little bit of, like, a... No, that's a little too sharp. Is that gonna look good? That looks a lot better, yes. Okay, let me sit back upright for fuck's sake. Oh my god. And then we gotta get the little cheek fluff that's characteristic of the Canastrians. The little fuzz on the side of their face here. Perfect. There we go. I think that looks pretty good for facial proportions. I'm not sure. Let's go for painting the other side fluff now. Get that. Looks decent, I think. No, he looks like he eated a bees. Let me erase that. Select all that. Oh, okay, I messed that selection up. Let's move that all in a bit, probably. Does that look right? Let me look up, like, fucking furry reference pictures, just to, like, get an idea of if that is how the other side of the snout should be looking. So the other side of the snout should look pretty much like that. I think I just need to make the cheek transition here a little sharper. That looks a lot better, yeah. And then I get the other ear drawn on. Not quite. So I think I gotta just, like, make sure first that I got the correct kind of... No, because it looks too wide when I do that. Because it's the issue of trying to make sure that the perspective looks right on it. I think I almost got it there. No, not quite. Let's get it like that. Is that any better? It does not look right. I know it's something to do with the shape. That looks better, I think. I think I might, for the sake of my own sanity, have it so that canastrians commonly cover one of their eyes with their hair. Because it's a cute hairstyle, and also it's a lot easier for me to draw. Yeah, that's pretty good looking. I thought this was a C418 track. Yeah, it is. This is C418's song Click, apparently. I have never heard this. This is good. The snoot line might be too high up, like, well, because I'm trying to go for the same kind of thing that Callie's snout has, where it's kind of a rounder look to it. Because, like, taking away the rough sketch, I mean, it kind of does look a little off, but I can't I cannot identify how I would make it look smoother, but let's give it a try, I guess. Because Callie's snout is rounder. So it's like, the bottom of it definitely is going to remain the same. Maybe like that? How does that look? I think that looks better. Let me just redo that whole other eye. I don't really care how good the other eye looks right now. I think that looks worse. I really think it looks worse. I don't know why. Maybe it's this bit? I'm not really sure. No, that looks worse. I'm not really certain. Because, like, this side looks too small now. I honestly can't tell. I'm just gonna look up, like, canine skull reference 3D. I'm gonna look up canine skull reference 3D just to see what a dog's skull would look like, so I can get, like, a better idea of, like, because this feels right, because the canastrians do have rounder snouts. Is it this, maybe? Let's see. Because canines obviously have really different shapes than anthropomorphic canines. Why is my bitrate unstable? What the fuck? I don't know. Thanks, fucking college Wi-Fi. Let's see here. I might just reuse, like, literally Callie's exact same face shape because it turned out really well. I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to turn down the opacity here, move Callie over, and I'm going to do my best to go back over their snout, but there's definitely some issues I can already identify with it. But, like, I think going for that rounder shape is what I want for the whole species. Because this is my own art, so I'm going to just reuse this proportioning. If I can fucking redraw it, for goodness sake. Oh my gosh. There we go. It's going to start just by looking really similar to Callie's face, but that's because it's literally Callie's face. But, like, I think it's just a good idea so I can get the general, like, head shape for the species drawn out pretty well. Let me just put that a little further out that way. That should be good. And I know my Callie drawing's definitely nowhere near perfect either, but, like, it's definitely what I want to go for with the Canastrians, so, like, it's probably just the smartest idea for me right now to just kind of use what I already have. Let's go for the little eyebrow nub. If my fucking brush can cooperate for once in its life. I think I gotta move the nose over a little bit. Let me... go for that. Looks pretty good. This is just a little too far down. No, that looks fine. I think it's this that's the issue. Yeah, it's definitely, I gotta fix, no. Oh my god, dude. Keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts, please, for fuck's sake, work with me. Did not mean to control X. I was trying to control Z. I think that looks definitely closer to what I want, but face, I think, still looks a little awkward. Probably because Callie's got their mouth open, so it looks different. But I think that's pretty close to what I'm looking for. And then the ear is just going to be the big triangle. Because the Canastrians all have the kind of lab type ears. they've got the little attachment point there. And then the face is going to be a bit slimmer than Callie's, because they do have larger cheeks, so I'm just going to go for, like, a bit slimmer of a look there. I think I do need to round it out at least a little bit, just to show that there is a cheek there in the first place, because I do want the Canastrians to have that kind of fuller, softer facial structure. Because I think they're a more... I want them to be kind of, I think, a more inherently, like, somewhat feminine species. I'm not sure, like, how to exactly present that properly, but I do think having the Canastrians be primarily feminine... Oh, okay, no one's watching. Damn. But I'm thinking, like... Well, I guess if I could just keep drawing then. But... yeah, I don't know if anyone's still actually watching or not, because it says 0 on my view count thing, but let me keep drawing nonetheless. Let's see, so that, yeah, that looks about right for that. Hydration check, alrighty, let me Control S to save. I got my fucking water bottle right here. I'm gonna take a drink. Ugh. Make sure y'all are staying hydrated too. Thank you for the hydration check, Cookie. Alright, we are going to go back to figuring out the head shape for the our kind of base Canastrian here. So I'm thinking probably about here. No, because that's way too big. Yeah, because that leaves like way too much space up in the head there. So I do think I have to shrink the ear down somewhat to kind of match the proportions of the rest of the body. Because that looks a lot more sensible. I think I might have to bring that other eye closer, too. Yeah, I think I might have to pull this side in a bit. Because as it stands right now, the face is, like, way too wide looking. So I think I'm going to just, like, shave off a bit of that and a bit of that. Select all that. Bring that in a lot closer. Definitely readjust that arc here. Because then that leads down to... Yeah, this is definitely looking more like a realistic head shape. I think I need to move the cheek out. Because once I do that, it'll have a more realistically kind of soft cheek shape. Let's put that there. Yeah, that's a lot better looking. Gotta redraw some of the ear here. And the other ear will be back here. That's almost right. I think that's roughly good, yeah. So I've got the base head shape down. So I'm just gonna name that layer base head shape. So I'm going to just give this Canastrian probably a similar hairstyle to what Callie has. Actually, I might go for something more like a very loose side shave, I think might be fun. So I'm going to turn the opacity down so I can actually see what I'm doing. But yeah, I think giving this character a kind of, like, loose, you know, like the stereotypical, like, fucking, like, butch lesbian hairstyle, if you know what I'm talking about. Where it's, like, very fluffy hair pushed off to one side. So I definitely gotta go for something kind of a softer shape in that case. No, not quite right. There we go. Because this means it'll be, like, longer on this side, obviously. But I can also make it actually, like, hang down a bit over here. Let me just get that drawn in a little better. That looks pretty good for what I was going for. Because that's like the kind of side shave hairstyle that I was literally envisioning. Because on this side of the head, like where I'm looking right now, there wouldn't be a lot of hair because the side shave is specifically meant to be, you know, shaved on one side so that the other can have a longer kind of contrast. So I'm going to give that some more volume to it and have the other eye barely visible. That makes it quite nice looking, yeah. Let me name the that is not how you spell hair. Let's go for... not quite. Almost. Doesn't look quite right. I think I just gotta add some more kind of volume to it like that. And maybe add some bits in the back peeking up too. Yeah, some bits behind the ear. Yeah, there we go. Because then when I turn the base head shape back up, I can select within the hair here. Actually, no, because the hair is still not completely a closed shape, so I have to fix that. Just gotta make sure that the hair gets to be a closed shape so I can select inside of it. Yes, yes, I know there are better ways to do this. But I do not want to do them right now. Because I like being able to actually have the fine motor control to trace this out. There we go. I believe it's a closed shape now. No, it's not. There's still a gap. Let's see, what else? Is there any other gap around? I think we're good. So I can select inside of there. Just make a new hair mask layer. But yeah, let me just make sure I get all the parts where the hair is. So I can draw in the hair mask layer, I could fill that with just white. Let me just make my brush really big for that. Fill that in. Because that way we have an easily hideable kind of coverage for what the hair cover. That looks really nice, actually. Let me just check my messages real quick. Okay, we're still good. Fucking the amount of Sneakers O'Toole memes I have been seeing recently, I am gonna lose my mind. But yeah, this looks pretty good for a hairstyle for this Canastrian. So I'm gonna remove the Cali layer underneath. I'm gonna go for neck and shoulders as a layer. I'm gonna remove the hair mask for now. The Canastrians are definitely going to have, like, somewhat thicker necks, I think. Not that thick. Probably about that thick is probably good. And then I can, like, do the little... this kind of thing so I can get a good idea of, like, where their shoulder area would start. Because this is just kind of, like... Not quite a mane, almost, but it's a good way to tell, like, where the chest... the middle of the chest is and stuff like that. So I can extrapolate from that. Get a good idea of where the shoulders will be. Not quite that. Looks about right. Maybe a little too narrow. No, I think it actually might be good. Yeah, that looks pretty actually decent for this. But I do think the Canastrians are probably all going to have the same kind of feature as Cali, where they have a kind of softer, almost like fucking dewlap, like a bunny, around their necks. So I am going to have to do the little bit of kind of like squish that the neck has going on. just to try and give it some more kind of depth to it. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's definitely looking a lot better. No, not quite. It's actually a little off. Oh my goodness. My voice. We're good. But yeah, I think just doing that. No, that is not. That looks pretty good. I think I actually gotta round their cheek out a little more. I think Callie's type of face shape is definitely gonna be the norm for Canastrians. That's way too round. That's kind of almost... That's like they eat it a bee level of round. Let's see. Almost. That's pretty good. And then, yeah, putting the hair mask back on, that actually looks pretty decent. Because this area would realistically hang in front of the neck and shoulders, so I definitely think that's looking half decent at least. Let me just check my messages and stuff again real quick. Why is my bitrate... My stream bitrate is too high. Hold on, I'm gonna try and handle this. What? It says it's stable. I don't get what it's saying unstable for. That's annoying. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about. But yeah, I'm going to just keep drawing. I think probably just giving them a more prominent-ish chest area. Which I also suck at drawing, so, like, bear with me for a second here. And just kind of a more... Nope, that's not where it starts. Kind of a more average shape to them. Just a sketch right now, obviously. But then I'm gonna... Actually, I should probably sketch their lower body. Lower body sketch. Because Tars, obviously, probably would have their back come down like that. Like, they got kind of a longer lower half. And then they got, you know... That's not quite right. But I definitely think so. That's probably just gonna taper off, kind of like that. That's not quite where it would start. Alright, I gotta pull up the Callie again. Pulling up the doggy. Dog acquired. Let's flip this layer horizontally. Scale it down roughly so it matches like what I'm going for. I did not realize we were drawing this far close to the bottom of the canvas, so I'm gonna move everything up. Let's put the Cali reference down there. Lower body sketch. So yeah, it'd probably be realistic to have their back start like that. If not a little further down, actually. Let's just remove that for now so we can get a better idea of what we're going for. And then, yeah, it tapers off. Got the back leg. And then I'm thinking they're probably digitigrade, so I'm going to go for that. Although I'm really not the best at drawing paws either, so like... Yeah, that's probably a pretty good back leg shape. And then the important part is this comes back up and, like, probably, like, works with the main torso, kinda. I think that's a good way to put it. I don't know, something like that. And then... same thing in the front. If I can fucking muster it. Get the big paws. And then, like, literally put the same thing in the back. So, like, that literally just goes right back there again. And this will do the same thing. It'll be a little smaller. Right back there. Because then they've got that kind of the tar lower body looking really good. Let me just get the curve of the tail out pretty good. That's pretty good for a rough sketch, I'd say. Let's see here. I think I may need to scale the lower body up, actually. Because their upper body is looking... Yeah, that's a lot more in proportion. That is definitely a lot more what I'd want to be going for, so I'm going to just turn the opacity down on that. Just going to keep working on their upper body, which kind of just would taper off like that. And then you would get the back half. Probably like that, starting to come in. And it has to kind of curve up a bit because of the spine, obviously. Did not mean to be on eraser mode there, but that actually probably helped us a bit. Get that drawn out. We're going to avoid doing the legs for now. That's actually just gonna be the body layer, if I could fucking spell it right. Dog, who keeps messaging me? Okay. Let's go... The leg is probably going to have to be a little thicker than I made it out to be. So like that, probably. And then it tapers off to... That's probably the good place to have the paw. Yeah, that's pretty good for a paw, I think. I don't know. I suck at drawing them anyway, so who gives a shit? I'm doing my best here. I am quite literally doing my best. And this actually gives me the opportunity to... Come on. Let's try that again. And this paw is going to be facing more this way, I think. Yeah, that looks actually pretty good. Obviously, the paws are going to have more toes when I actually, like, draw them properly. I think I might actually move this leg forward a bit. Because as of right now, it feels a little bit too far back. Yeah, that's more like it. That is exactly where it should go. That's actually a pretty good placement for it, I'd say. Yeah, that's actually pretty good, for the front part at least. And then for the back half... Let's get that out of the way. Yeah, that's pretty good for the back paw. And the back haunches, I know, are always larger than the front ones, so that's pretty decent proportioning there. And then I know canines are more kind of barrel-chested like that, so that works pretty well. And then the tail. Yeah, that's pretty good for a tail, at least for now. Let's go for the other leg here. Let's try and get it so the paw is, like, facing semi-outward, I guess. So it's probably gonna look something like that. That doesn't look quite right. So I think I'm gonna actually just make it facing kind of like... a bit like that, probably, so it's like more forward. Yeah, that looks right. Yeah, definitely. Can get rid of the lower body sketch layer. That actually looks pretty damn good. And then I'm probably going to mimic Callie's arm pose almost exactly. That being... their arm being poised like that. Just so I can get the hand done easier, too. Because I cannot be bothered to do a proper hand right now. So I'm going to use one that I've already drawn. Why not? Because the paw pads are accurate too, so like... what's the big deal? Let me just get the paw pads drawn on. That looks pretty good. I don't really care about hands too much. Because the other arm is tucked behind anyways. So it's not even visible. Yeah, that's pretty good. Get rid of the stuff within the arm there. No, I did not want to erase that. I wanted to just make the chest more apparent. I have to leave in a bit. Oh, that's alright. I appreciate you showing up nonetheless. I really suck at drawing chests. I think that's pretty accurate. I don't really care. And Canastrians are live-born, so they would have a belly button. I'm not really too worried about how good that looks. It's a minor detail anyways. But that's pretty good for the actual body of the Canastrian. Let's see here. So I've got the body pretty well drawn, actually. See you, Quookie. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, I did not mean to close my stream manager on my phone. Let me reopen that. Yikes. Alright. Let me move all of these back towards the center. Let me draw a little title thing. Appropriately named title thing. And let me just draw a little... the... canastrians. Let me just draw a little... Perfect. That's pretty good. Oh, didn't realize that fucked up. Let me get that fixed up there. There we go. So I think what we should do... I think instead of doing, like, one specific fur pattern, I think we should, like... probably just, like, make a few example fur patterns. Like, let me... Fur pattern circle. So let's fill that in. That is anti-aliased. I don't want anti-aliased. And then let's contract that selection by 2. Beautiful. Let's move that down to the bottom. Let's go... Fur pattern... examples. Nope, that is not where I was trying to draw. Fur pattern examples. And then I'm gonna probably name a bunch of these, just so people can get an idea of, like, you know, if they're drawing a canastrian, some of the patterns they can have, stuff like that. I will go back and refine the lower body of the canastrian in a second, but right now I'm probably just going to try and focus on getting some fur pattern examples done. So let me pull up... I'm actually not going to close the Kali ref yet. I'm going to pull up... let me see if I can find it. I think it's in my other folder. Ah, yeah, the Caliverse folder. Here we are. I'm going to pull up the labeled version of Aphrodite. And I think I'm probably going to start off by, like, associating fur patterns with regions. So I think the kind of common fur pattern of, like, what Kali has is probably going to be most present in, I think Ilmaka is going to be the place that it's situated. So I'm going to start with this being the... Hold on, let me... Circle, empty, do not draw on. Hide that. Duplicate it. And then name it Ilmaka Circle. There we go. So this is going to be probably the I think I'm gonna go for this fur pattern being most prevalent in this area, probably. Actually, probably more like this area. I think that area is going to be what I'm gonna go for with the, so that's going to be the, I'll probably just call it the Kesket pattern. Because that's gonna just name it after the peninsula there. I think I'll actually probably give it the full name of, like, Marbled Kesket, probably. There we go. And that is going to be the fur pattern that Calero has. So I'm just going to color pick from them. I forgot I have it set to that. There we go. Who is fucking messaging me? Oh my gosh. Alright. So I'm just gonna... get some little patterns drawn here, inspired by what Callie's got going on. Because that way, I got a good basis to work off of for the other areas. Let me just fill in some of these spots there. That's a pretty good variety, I'd say, for that pattern. It gets you the general idea of what's going on. I think another fun pattern to have would be something like, let me find a picture of a hyena fur pattern. Because hyena fur patterns are spotted, but they're really subtle spots, I'd say. Like, they're kind of fuzzy spots. Let me just file new, create from clipboard. Like, that kind of pattern could be really fun to have. Probably... I think probably in Ksenia over here is where that would be most common, because there's a lot of desert, and I think that would be a fun pattern for them to have. Either there, I think actually Hafar might be a better place to have it going on, because realistically, I'm kind of debating here, because it could also be like the Kopeleki Rainforest or the Warani Rainforest. I don't think it matters too much besides the name, because, you know, these patterns can pop up basically wherever. I think I will probably call it the... I'll probably call it the Ksenia pattern, because it'll probably be common in this general area. So let me duplicate the circle. Move that. So let me just make sure I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 should be enough space there. So this is gonna be Cassania. That is not... There we go. Spotted. Cassania. I'm actually gonna make it Cassanian, just because it's someone who's from the region, not the region itself, obviously. And I think Keskit works fine as the demonym for that place as well. It's just a nice word. But I'm going to just color pick a few spots from the hyena here. And go for a kind of like... I'll probably make a little note on the bottom of each one of what it's inspired by. Because I do intend to have a lot of these inspired by real animals. Like, for example, Caliro's original patterning is inspired by painted dogs. So, like, I intend to probably primarily use real animals, but I'll definitely throw in some more fantastical patterning, because it could be fun. But yeah, let me just get this kind of thing. And then the spots themselves are pretty dark. I might blur these, I'm not sure. I think it could probably be a good idea, so let me just pick up my blending brush here, turn down the size, and just kind of go for a softer look with these. And then I'll definitely make the area between the actual spots kind of lighter. And this helps me too, because I do plan to eventually make a portrait mod for the game Stellaris to add the Canastrians, because it could be fun. There we go. That looks pretty good, I'd say. So let me just make this lighter color here. I still have it set to Blender. I might be stupid. Let's go back to that. And let's just do a little bit of color between the spots. Just because I think it adds some good variety. And then just blur it in there. Beautiful. Gotta blur this bit a little more. There we go. That's actually a pretty good approximation of what I was going for. I think I'm actually going to blur... I'm gonna rename these real quick. And I think I am actually going to blur this one. Because I think it might look nice if I blur some parts of it. Not the whole thing. But definitely if I blur, like, you know, like this, for example. I think it adds quite a bit to it. I just gotta make sure I keep the kind of inside little pocket... The little pockets definitely should stay more solid looking. But these can be a lot more fluid with how the fur looks, in my opinion. I'm definitely gonna blur these a bit, but not a lot. Let me just get that. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a pretty good kind of detailing to it, I'd say. Let's go back up to the earliest brush here. And let's go for a little bit of a lighter color for that, just to add in some more variety. Speckle some of that around. Just kind of spatter some all over in those areas. And then go back to our blending brush here. Go back to our softer kind of spread. That looks good. I don't really care about the black bleeding in at the edges a bit. It's whatever, honestly. But I think that adds some pretty good variety to the patterning. So we've got a hyena-like pattern. So we've got... Let me go on this map here. Turn the opacity down a bit so it doesn't hurt the eyes as much. Oh, that's probably worse. Who gives a shit? Let's go... alias brush here just so I can go map out these patterns a bit. So the casket pattern is probably most prevalent around, I want to say, like, this general area, probably. And then I think it probably cuts off around there. So this is going to be the general area for the marbled casket. So that's going to be that area. I don't really care that I'm drawing on the background, honestly, because I'm not going to save this. So that's going to go there. The spotted Cassanian pattern is probably going to be neighboring this. So it's probably going to be something like this being the most prevalent areas for it. Because there's a bunch of mountains here that it probably incorporates. So that's going to be the spotted Cassanian pattern. So that's already incorporating two pretty big areas. Let's see here. So I think the next area we should give a unique pattern to, because obviously there's going to be a lot of them. But I think let's see how long I've been going for. Okay, I should take a water break real quick. Y'all stay hydrated too. Make sure you're drinking water. Hydrated once again. So I think the next pattern to go for could probably be, I think the Warani region would probably be a good place to do it. So I think I'm going to make the Warani pattern probably incorporate this whole general area up to the western Dracaean Mountains. So I think since it's a rainforest, probably a striped pattern would work best. So I'm gonna call this... That is not what I was trying to write. Striped Warani. I think having them be, like, roughly equal distribution of patterns makes a lot of sense. So let's find a striped animal. Animals with striped fur. Let's see here. So, what are you? Actually, we could go with striped hyenas. How about that? Striped hyenas are really pretty. Hi, nice to see ya. I hope you're doing well today. We're currently just working on, the Canastrian species and drawing various fur patterns and stuff like that. I've kind of got a good base set for a Canastrian. I'm gonna have to do some adjustments, like, you know, adding more toes to the paws and stuff like that, but besides that, this is a pretty accurate representation of a Canastrian. So I am going to... I've got a picture of a striped hyena here. I think this fur pattern... Why are they shaped like that? What the fuck? I didn't even notice. Why are you, like... Why are you a trapezoid? Whatever. What was that map thing you had up a bit ago? So this is from the Caliverse channel in my Discord server of, the planet of Aphrodite, which is where the Canastrians live. So I am currently mapping out where their fur patterns would occur. For example, I have Spotted Cassanian and Marbled Kesket are the two that I have so far. And so the Marbled Kesket people are generally in this area. Spotted Cassanian are generally in this area. And then the Striped Warani, who I haven't drawn yet, are going to be in the, generally, like, the Warani rainforest area. Who the fuck is messaging me? I need to mute that group chat. There's so much talking. God motherfucking damn. Okay. Okay. I have the striped hyena reference, so I'm going to bring that over here. Duplicate the empty circle. That is not what I was trying to do. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So this is going to be for the Warani region. I think I'm actually gonna make the term probably be striped Waranian, just so I can have the demonym be like, you know, consistent. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that's going to be the circle 4. Striped. Waranian. And then move all that text to be more centered. That's pretty good. So we're going to be taking inspiration from the striped hyena's coat for this. So that's going to be the base. I think the base is actually going to be, I'm going to lighten that up a bit. And then the stripes are going to be pretty dark, so I'm going to probably start with some of the accenting colors that I'm seeing, like there's some darker and lighter areas around. So I'm going to go for like a kind of like staying along the grain of the stripes is what I'm going for with that. Let's go for a little lighter. That should be pretty good for some variety for the background of this. And then let's go for some more stripiness just to add some texture to it. That's a pretty good background, so I'm going to blend that. Just to make sure this is some added, like, you know, because it's meant to be kind of just a background to the actual stripes. So it doesn't have to be too detailed, but, like, has to be enough that people can tell what the fur pattern actually is supposed to be. That's pretty good. Go back up to that. And then let's try and color pick. That's a pretty good color for the stripes, I'd say. Because this is meant to be for Canastrians that lived in, like, rainforest regions and stuff like that. So it's meant to be more natural kind of colors. So I think this is a pretty good choice for that. That's pretty good looking, so I'm going to find the blender again. That looks pretty decent. Stripes typically more grassland, while spots is jungle. I mean, to be fair, this planet in general, the plant life is pretty different from our own. So the rainforest is going to have, like, it's going to be a lot darker in the rainforest, so the thing that stands out the most would be the bark of, like, plants and stuff like that. Actually, thinking about it, these patterns barely make sense in the first place for this planet because the plant life is blue and black. So I think I'm going to... probably going to here adjust hue saturation value, and we are going to just kind of play around with this a little bit, because I think having their fur be almost like a that kind of color would make a lot more sense for that region. Because the plant life here is literally dark blue and black. For the Keskit Desert there, I think I'm probably just going to keep this the same because it's a pretty iconic thing, and because the sand is pretty varied in color. There's some blue sand, there's some white sand, some orange. So I think it also just looks pretty. For the Spotted Cassanian pattern, I'm probably... let me just select that. Invert selection. So the Cassanian pattern is going to be mostly throughout the Keskit Desert area. What's blue sand? Honestly, it's just sand but blue. I don't really have too much of a reason besides the chemical composition or something. I just wanted it to look pretty because I think it looks pretty. And it's plausible. So, like, why not? But I'm going to make the Spotted Cassanian pattern is definitely going to be... I think before anything, I'm going to up the contrast on it. Is this what I'm going for? Ooh. I don't know what this is. I have no idea what that is. That is not contrast. Levels might be the best for this. Yeah, that's probably about good. And then having that kind of pattern be, like, desaturated like that could be really cool, because then you could just have a bunch of fucking blue canastrians running around. So let's go for... I don't know what auto contrast did. Let's undo that. Let's see, levels. That's actually perfect for what I was going for. So yeah, the Spotted Cassanian pattern can be like a light white blue. I think that makes a lot of sense for the region. Because if you look at where the Spotted Cassanians are, most of it is desert. And I like to think a lot of this is probably blue sand desert, so it is going to be a lot of blue to camouflage. So this probably works pretty damn well. Let's see here. What are some other regions that might be fun to start out with? I think Patrin could be a good region to do, because there's a lot of snow, but it could also have... Actually, I think I might just Nah, I'm not going to rename these. But I am going to have multiple occurrences of some of these across the planet. just because it would make sense. Like, the spotted Cassanians will probably have, like, similar fur patterns over here. Can I... Oh, I still have it on Blender. I'm stupid. But yeah, these spotted Cassanians probably would occur multiple times throughout the world. So I'm just gonna, like, abbreviate that SPQ. They would probably pop up in most of the big deserts. So I'm going to just stick them... That's probably where their general extent is. Maybe some in the Dracaean Desert, but I'm not. I think I'm actually going to make a unique pattern for the Dracaean Desert. The Marbled Kesket pattern probably will pop up in kind of subtropical regions like that, I want to think. So I think I'll make them generally over here. I think that makes sense. And then probably having them in the central Dracaean Mountains, too. And then the striped Waranians probably will be in most big rainforests. So right there. And then I think that's pretty good for where the striped Waranians would show up. Because we've got pretty much, like, a good distribution along the equator. Alrighty, see ya. Thank you for stopping in. Oh, I did not want to save that. I might be stupid. Let's see here. So, what region? I think the Dracaean area could be fun to do next. So I'm going to mark that off. I'm going to probably make the boundary something like that. And then I think a good pattern for the Dracaean area, I'm actually going to section off the Palea Mountains. So the Dracaean Desert and Laponi Desert. Probably a cool pattern for this might be, honestly, just a faint pattern. So I'm just gonna call it, like, Pale Dracaean. So the Pale Dracaean pattern is, I think, going to be exclusive to that area. So the Pale Dracaean pattern is going to be, I think, probably almost fully white. So let me just label it real quick. If I can write a C, for goodness sake. Pale Dracaean. There we go. So, the Pale Dracaean pattern is probably going to be generally like a gentle cyan as the base. I'm gonna call this Dracaean Circle. And then I am going to probably say that it has like up the back, probably, it would have, like, a lighter stripe and stuff like that. So I'm going to just kind of draw that out. And then it will have more light area. Typically like that, probably. Let me just grab the blender. Get some more of that settled out. That's pretty good. I think I wanted it to be a very simple pattern. And I think that pretty much embodies what I wanted out of it, because I wanted it to be a good, like, desert camouflage pattern. And the Dracaean desert area is definitely a lot of whiter sands. So I think it would make a lot of sense to have that there. Let's see. I think, the Hafari pattern could be fun. But I might actually name it the, probably the Pozole pattern. Just because it's going to be based around the Pozole area. Or Pozzola? I think that would be Pozzola. I don't remember what accent I was going for there. But I'm going to make that a kind of that color, just so it's easy to distinguish on the map. So the Pozzola pattern will be probably most of this area up to the Pozzola Mountains. So I'm going to call that Pozzole. And then that pattern will probably be spotted. Spotted Pozzolean. And I think they'll probably be present in this area too, around the Barand and Racine Mountains. So I'm going to call that SPZ. It's going to be my little code for that. And then it is going to be present up here to SPZ. It's going to be present over here to a lesser extent. SPZ. Down here, it'll probably be only really along the coast. And then I think that'll encapsulate basically the entire Hafar Peninsula, too. So I think that's probably a good distribution for the SPZ pattern. I think I'm probably going to... I'm gonna do some of the islands here, too. Like the little archipelagos and stuff like that that are all around. So this is probably also going to be SWR. That being striped Waranian. I think these are also going to be striped Waranian. Also will be striped Waranian. And these will be SPZ. 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 I think these will also be SWR. I think the Koben Archipelago I'm going to give its own unique one. Because I think that would be fun, because it's bigger islands, so it could be really cool. I'm gonna give these few over here the marbled casket pattern, MKH. Same with these. Let's see, what else is around? Asania will definitely be SPZ, and I know it's on the other side here too. So I'm going to just make sure SPZ. I think these islands here. Coho, I know I want to be SPZ. The Accolade Archipelago, I think, is probably going to be whatever I make the polar stuff. I think that should just about do it for the islands so far. Oh, not these ones. I gotta do these ones. These are going to be MKH. Alright. The next pattern we could probably do, I think just so we don't forget about it, is the Palea Mountains. I think I will just make them a kind of cyan color here. Because these are going to be an isolated, like, plateau type region. So I'm going to call this probably, like, Rocky Palais Palayan. Probably Palayan. Rocky Palayan. Just because that's like, it's an isolate region that's big enough that I think it deserves its own kind of little patterning. One, two, three. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's write Rocky Poly... N... If we end up having to make more space to write the patterns and stuff like that, it's no big deal. So let's just call this Polayan circle. Let me just make sure I spelled my own word right. I did not. I forgot an A. I thought I was spelling it wrong, and I was correct. There we go. That's a lot more sensible. Rocky Palayan. Because Palaya was meant to be linguistically, like, Polynesian. So I was like, I knew something was wrong when I was pronouncing it like that, because I was like, that's just not right. So the Rocky Palayan pattern, I think, could be really fun if we make it like a mottled blue, like brownish white, kind of speckled. I'm not sure. I think having it be... Let's go for something kind of more unique. Let's go for like brown and gray, because it is Rocky Palayan. So let's go for a kind of earthy brown kind of color. So since it's Rocky Palayan, I think I'm going to have it be very speckled. And also be quite varied. So I'm going to have it be like kind of mirroring the casket pattern almost, but maybe with like sharper edges. I think that could be really fun. Because sharper patterns on fur are not something you see a lot in nature, because it just doesn't really happen. So I think it could be really neat. Yeah, that looks pretty cool already. Yeah, there we go. And then I can draw some smaller geometric stuff. Go for that. Beautiful. And then go for a darker color in these areas. There we go. that's exactly what I was trying to go for, honestly. Select that, invert selection. Get our blurring tool out. And then get to work on blurring. Because it's meant to look kind of like, you know, mineral. Rather obviously. There we go. That's actually a pretty damn cool fur pattern, if I do say so myself. I think I might actually make the Rocky Palayan pattern appear in other mountain ranges, too. Like, up here, I think. Yeah, the Rocky Palayan pattern could be really cool up there. So I think it could only occur a few times in the world. Like there. Down here. Actually, I think down here it could probably just arc all the way down. Mark that off with RPA. And then it could probably even be a pattern down here in Patrin by the ice sheets. Yeah, so I'm gonna make it just like... generally this whole area could be the Rocky Palayan pattern. So that leaves us with a few decently varied areas. Let me just make sure I'm keeping up to my messages. Yeah, I am. So, let's see here. Next area we could probably work on. Well... I'm thinking probably... this little area here, the coastal desert areas is probably what this one's gonna be. So probably the Vrind area. Probably just really Vrind and Wreck. So I'm going to just call this something. I know it's going to be, the demo name is going to be Wreckite. But what kind of pattern could be cool to go here? Let me look up some fur patterns in nature. Let's look for some fun ideas here, because we got stripes, we got spots. Could give them something kind of cool, like you know, like iridescent fur or something like that. Patterns in nature. Let's see. Anything interesting that we could do? Could go for multicolor stripes. Or spots. I think going for multicolor stripes could be fun. I think I might go for, like, calling it... probably just spotted rekite, honestly. And then the spotted rekite pattern is going to appear there. It is going to appear over in the Vrind area. I'm gonna call that SRK just for short. I think it's really only gonna appear in those two areas. Because there's not really any other available coastal desert areas that haven't already been filled by other niches. So I think that makes sense. I could put them up here a little bit. I'm gonna put them up here a little bit. They're going to be right along here. SRK. What is this song I'm listening to right now? Okay, I thought this was from Minecraft. Yeah, it's Left to Bloom from Minecraft by Elena Rain. So the spotted rekite pattern is probably going to be... I'm debating. I think multicolor spots could be really fun. So I think the spotted rekite pattern will be multicolor spots. The spotted rekite pattern. Readjust the text there. So, the spotted rekite pattern, let's see, the area that it's in is generally sandy. It's coastal desert, so I think making it a mix of lighter and darker blues to mimic the water and the sand is probably a good idea. So let's go for a kind of... That's probably a good base color. With a darker kind of outline type thing. Let's go for just like filling in a bunch of that. That works pretty well, I'd say. And then inside of these is going to be the individual actual spots. So that probably works well. I like that. Let's start filling those in. We're also gonna have just some completely dark spots in here for some variety. Let's get that set. That's good. I think that's a pretty good amount of spots and stuff like that to have. And then the actual color of the spots will probably be that color-ish. That works well. Because I think this will lend itself to being really interesting canastrian patterning. I think that's a pretty good variety there of spot sizes and stuff. So I'm going to go blend that again. I did not mean to just hit my fucking microphone. I'm so sorry if anyone's listening. Get some good outer edge blending especially. Almost good blending that. We're getting there. Think fast, I threw my phone. Hi, Toho. It's nice to see you today. I hope you're doing well. I am currently working on drawing stuff for the canastrians. So I've got the base body for what a canastrian generally looks like done so far. And I am currently just working on mapping out a bunch of patterns on the planet of where certain fur patterns are probably the most common. Could be better. I'm sorry, Toho. I hope things are alright for you. Hope you get a break from whatever is going on soon. I'm very sorry. I getcha. But yeah, we are just working on a bunch of fur patterns. I think I might actually make... Yeah, this should be enough space. Because I've got these 6, which are definitely pretty common ones. The only places we really have left to draw them are, like, tundra-ish regions, like down here, down here, down here, and up there, up there. Polar regions, like the Katiana ice sheet. And then a few special regions like this area, which are weird areas. Like, that one's a weird area, this one's a weird area, and this one is a weird area. So I'm going to probably make those now. Actually, no, I'm going to finish up... I'm going to do the tundra ones next. So the tundra ones are going to just be... I still have the blending tool equipped. I might be stupid. But this is going to go up there. I think I'm going to call it the... something... Coletzian. I think I might just call it, like, Snowy Coletzian. That makes for a good name, I think. Snowy Coletzian. And that is going to incorporate... That is not what I was trying to draw. Oh my god. It's going to incorporate the entire North Pole area. Dude, oh my god, I cannot fucking draw a straight line. Dude, please. Alright, there we go. Where'd my cursor? Where's my fucking cursor? Oh my god, I can't see it for shit. Alright. The Snowy Coletzians are also going to be literally like the entire North Pole there. They're also probably going to be pretty much the remainder of Patrin down here. They are going to be pretty much everything down here. SKL, SKL. Those are going to be the same pattern. I think that's pretty good on the layout for those. So now I just have to actually draw the pattern. So let's duplicate... Actually, I forgot to rename this one. Let's name this Rekite Circle. Coletzian Circle. It was Coletzian, right? Yes. And then move that over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And it was the Snowy Coletzian. Snowy... Snowy Coletzian. That was the right accent, yeah. Get that centered. And then the Snowy Coletzian pattern is probably going to be a kind of swirly mix of a few colors. So I think this is going to be the base color. And then it is going to be a lighter blue that's going to be kind of swirling throughout it. Fill that in. Make sure that's got some more variety. That's pretty good. And then I think I'm going to have literally just like snowy whitish colors probably be like running alongside a lot of this, I think. So like along a lot of these edges. There we go, that's looking nice. pretty good. I think I'm just gonna make a little bit lighter variant of that color. Just so I could draw it around the snowy area. Or snowy colors. Just so I can add some more color variety in there. Because it's meant to be kind of a swirly kind of fur pattern. Like, it started out I was trying to go for more, like, realistic kind of patterns, but then I was like, fuck it, we're just making whatever looks cool. Because I think it is very fitting for the setting to have really weird fur patterns for the Canastrians. So I'm going to try and do my best to blend this generally along the grain of the fur, so it stays generally apparent what the pattern is. Let's see here. That's pretty good. And I think it's a pretty fun fur pattern, too, because it's a lot of blue. I think the majority of Canastrians would actually be blue. Because you've got lighter blues like the spotted Cassanian and pale Dracaean patterns, darker blues like the striped Waranian and snowy Coletzian. Because a lot of the plant life on Aphrodite is blue and purple, so it's kind of the standard. That's a really cool looking pattern, I think. I'm going to go back here, the Rocky Dracaean. I forgot I was going to add some... Or, Rocky Palayan. I was going to add some lighter speckles to it. Because it was meant to mimic... I still have it set to blend. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Yeah, some lighter speckles to it. Like that. Probably a few more even lighter ones. That's pretty nice looking, yeah, because it's supposed to kind of mimic a dirt texture almost. Or like rock texture. I am being pinged. What is it this time? What is it? Ooh, I don't know. Alright, so we got those patterns. So the last ones we're going to do, we're going to take that circle base. We're going to shrink it down to probably about half of its size. That's probably a good size for it. And we are going to just position them like that and like that, because I think we only have 2 special ones to do. That being down here, which I am just going to call... And this pattern, this fur pattern is going to be largely influenced by the weird shit that's going on in this sea right here. Because there are a lot of, like, non-Canastrian structures that kind of just appear in this area. What are you drawing? Hi, Lightning. I am world building right now. I am currently working on Canastrians. They are the inhabitants of the planet Aphrodite here. Lightning McQueen. But yeah, I am currently drawing the fur patterns for Canastrians and mapping them out, like, where they would occur on their home planet. For example, the striped Waranian pattern, which is, like, most prominent over here and looks like this, is also prevalent in other rainforest regions, like the Kopeleki rainforest or the Roan rainforest. Then you've got other stuff that's, like, you know, more scattered around, like the Pale Dracaean, which is in, I think, 2 places, or maybe just this one. I think it's actually in just that one. I might be stupid. But yes, big funny dog people. This is the species that Callie is technically a part of, but that's with a big asterisk at the end, because Callie is obviously, like, a goddess, so they're a little bit different. But yeah, so I'm going to just... So the second to last pattern that I have to draw is the... let me just call this a little mini circle, is the pattern that occurs only in the Kosene Mountains area and the Liminal Sea area, influenced by the really weird structures that appear here, that will give Canastrians an almost geometric fur pattern. So it, you know, damn it, I spat on my monitor a little bit, fuck. But Canastrians in this area, that is not the color I chose. But Canastrians in this area will be largely gray, with lighter, kind of purplish gray, like, geometric patterns across their fur. Actually, I'm gonna make this region pattern, like, this regional pattern, almost more like Sparkle Dog-esque, I think. I think we deserve to have Sparkle Dog Canastrians, so I'm going to give the base color a kind of dark purple-ish, like, kind of, like, laser tag carpet color. I am going to just start off by drawing a bunch of fun little shapes here, like, you know, triangle, circle, square, another triangle, another triangle, another circle. I'm going to then draw over them with other colors like yellow and orange and stuff like that, to add some more variety to them. So I think... because I think it'd be really cool to have, like, the arcade carpet-inspired patterning on a species. And I also think it'd be really weird and very fitting. Get that there. Yeah, I think that's pretty fitting. And then I gotta have, like, the little intermittent specks and stuff like that of different colors. Like that. Little, like, confetti almost. And then I'm going to take that background and I am going to draw in some darker kind of striping in the back. I am not going to blur this one, because I think it looks cooler that way. And I am going to, I think I named this one specifically Tiled Liminal, but I think I'm going to rename that to, like, Arcade Liminal. And then I'm going to label that. need to just... There we go. And then reposition this label. That's a pretty good position for it. And then the last area, I'm pretty sure. Let me check. Any other areas? No, it's just this area. Good. Okay. Also, yes, I do agree. Anyone can, if they put their mind to it, design a species, design a world. All you gotta do, honestly, is literally just fuck around and find out. Like, have fun with it. That is my #1 advice. Have fun with it. Like, just do whatever the fuck you feel like, because it's your project. Nobody should have dictation over what it's like besides you. So, like, do not be afraid to give it a try. There's no such thing as messing up, because if it's your project, you could just make whatever you want and have it just be that way because you want it to be that way. So I'm gonna call this, I think... Gootite is probably going to be the demonym for this area. Actually, Gutayan? Yeah, Gutayan, probably, or Gotayan. I don't really know how I would pronounce that. There's a correct pronunciation, but I don't know it. But the Gotayan fur patterning in this area, I'm thinking will be unique. Probably just by random chance, I'm thinking. Let me see what some fun variety could be, because we've got spotted, well, we've got marbled, spotted, striped, kind of bland, geometric, spotted, swirly. I'm not really sure what a fun fur pattern for this area would be that would be unique. Because I want it to be semi-natural, at least. I'm thinking, you know what? I think the one color that I think is missing from a lot of these is, I think, a red. So having a reddish-orange kind of color could be really cool, especially because the area, like, it wouldn't make much sense, so this would just be random, like, genetic chance that it just happened. So I think I'm going to call this, like, I don't fucking know, Red Gutayan. I think that works for a good pattern name. And I'm going to put it right down here as well. But yeah, so the Red Gutayan pattern is going to be... I think I'm just literally going to go with the inspiration of a fox pattern. So I'm going to give it, like, you know, the kind of color changes that a fox's fur pattern would have. Going to have a little more orange towards the bottom. That's pretty good, I'd say. And then towards the top, I'll probably just have it transition to a darker, like, brown kind of color. And then a really dark brown towards the top. And then I'm going to go through, blend it. Make sure it gets all nice and blended up. That actually looks pretty sick. It looks kind of like fire almost. I like it. And then I'm going to label it red to go tie-in. If I can fucking remember to turn off my blender brush. And these are just going to be like some of the more prominent ones or bigger examples. So I think I'm obviously going to let people be like, yeah, if you want to make like a fur pattern that's different, go right ahead. But these are going to be definitely the most common ones, I think. And so I think my next step here is going to be to real quick export this as a map of just fur colors. Save that. It is all saved. So what I'm going to do now is definitely go for... I think I'm going to draw a few, like, little mini headshots, I think, after I fix up some stuff like the paws. Because I do need to give them more toes and claws. So I'm going to go, like... That's pretty good, yeah. And then they got their little claws. And then they do have rear dew claws, like dogs do. So they are going to have these the little nubs. So let me just cut that out there. So that's going to be... One, two, three. That's probably good. I don't really need the claws to, like, stick out too well. I just need them to be visible. So yeah, they will have rear dew claws. They will not have front dew claws. But they will have normal claws, rather obviously. Let me get those claws drawn in too. Now go through and actually erase so the claws are visible. Hold on, that one's still a little fucked up. There we go. So was that one. Oh my goodness. Ultimate bean drawer? True. I would say I'm pretty decent at drawing the beans. Because I did draw the paw pads pretty well again, even though I basically copied the pose that I drew Callie in. But I still... No, that is not what I was trying... No. No. No, okay, that's... Whatever. There we go. They also will have claws on their fingers, which I neglected to draw on Callie. So they're gonna have little slicers. There we go. Perfect. That is on a different layer. I'm stupid. That looks a lot better, just removing those 2 pixels. Let's see here. So what should I do here? Chat, what more should I add? What more should I add for, like... Because this is supposed to be a kind of thing that lets you, like... help design your own canastrian. Should I add, like... headshot slash hairstyle examples do y'all think? Because hairstyles can be basically whatever, but canastrian hair tends to be long. How will this all relate to the Boston Tea Party is my question. Dog, I don't know. Yeah, sounds cool. Okay, I'm going to, this is hydration break. Y'all better be staying hydrated. Hydration break. I'm gonna drink some water, and then I'm going to get started on that. Wrong chat. Listen, Toho, with some of the bits that you do, I would not have been surprised if that was fully intentional. Ugh, hydration. Don't look at me with those big ol' eyes. I can look right back at you with those big ol' eyes, too. You see me staring at you? You see me staring at you over in the corner? Yeah, that's right. I'm looking at you. You. Yeah, you. You know who you are. I see you. Can't hide behind that screen. Okay, anyways. I think I will draw a few little... Because I did have just a base head shape layer that I can literally just reuse to draw more, like, a few other hairstyles. So I think I'm literally just gonna do that. What is this layer? What are you? I'm just gonna make hair... What do I look like if you know you're a coyote? That's what you look like. You got you're a triangle. You're literally just your triangle. That's all I gotta say. Triangular beast. That is way too high up. Wow, stereotyping me? I know you're triangular. I've seen your Sona's reference picture, Jojo. I know you're triangular. You are a triangular beast. Alrighty. Wow, I drew that hair pretty damn well. That is pretty damn well. The wicked triangle? What is so wicked about the triangle? Why are you so oval? Because I'm doggy. Everyone knows dogs are elliptical. That's why I'm so oval. Because I'm literally uppy. What do you want from me? Be the change you want to be in the world. Come back to Yote. Come back to Yoti. I never was Coyote though. How can I come back to something I was never? Shrimply not how I operate. Why do I say shrimply now? When the fuck did I start doing that? Yeah, I don't know, it's shrimply. In some alternative universe, you were totes yote. Honestly, I could totally see it. I definitely could be totes yote in another universe. There we go. I love the Undertale soundtrack so much. Alright, yeah, I think that's everything selected, so I can go... call this hair to mask. Change the color to white. Minecraft video OST, you mean? True! I love that I know the exact phenomenon you're referencing of, like... So many Minecraft videos just love to use the Undertale OST for some reason. It's kinda silly. I think, actually, I might... I got a good idea here. I got a good I think there's something deeply wrong with me. I need to get myself out of this loop of If you stim one more time, I'll post the AI generated emote Twitch has. I'll kill you. I'll kill you with rocks. That's not the no. That's not the emote. That's a Callie. That's not. I don't know what you're threatening me with, but that's just it. Rock's only stun. It's like it doesn't even rain in your world. I mean, it's about to for like the next fucking week where I am, dude. I'm not looking forward to it. Well, I kind of am because it is going to be rain and I love rain and we might even get some thunderstorms, but like it's swouse. It's literally swouse. So I'm thinking a fun thing Canastrians might have is that their eyes might literally just be completely different colors with every aspect of it. Like, the backing purple part could just be, like, reddish for some of them. And then, like, the little glowy part could be, like, you know, pink. And the white part could be, like, even something different. Like, it could just be a slight... whatever you want to call that color. I think that could be really fun. They're high? They are not high. They're hello at best. I'm sorry, the red was actually brown? What? No, it's not. What? But brown is like... This is brown. This is brown, right? Right? I'm gonna fucking explode. That's a shade of brown they both are. Fine, fine. Is this red? I need to make it darker. Is that red? Surely that's red. Okay, good. Because I think it'd be cool for Canestrians to be able to have different, like, eye glow colors. Like, the sclera of their eye could be completely different colors. The white part could be different. Even the purple part could be different. So, like, you could just get people with, like, really cool-looking eye colors. I don't care if it's slightly brown, it's close enough. But this could definitely be, like... I think this could be a really cool feature for Canestrians if they could have literally all three parts of their eye be, like, shift completely in color between individuals. I think that would be pretty awesome. I'm going to put this creature over here. Oh, I'm stupid. I never even... On the base one, I never even filled in the other eye. Bald! I know what she's doing. She's bald and she's killing people who have hair! Bald! I know what she's doing. She's bald and she's killing people who have hair! I really hope someone knows, like, the audio that I am referencing with that, because that fucking video fries me every time I see it. Whenever, like, someone puts that audio over, like, it's like, I see it a lot with people and, like, their, especially, like, bunnies, when their ears are folded back, well, they'll just put, like, she's bald and she's killing people who have hair! I don't know what the original audio is from, but it's just, it fucking kills me every time I see it. Wow, Lightning, you don't know something on Instagram Reels? That's surprising. Sorry, that was mean. Sorry. Don't you fro me. I know how many Reels you send me, motherfucker. Killing you with rocks? Oh, really now? You're killing the geologist with rocks. Really now? Let's see how that works out for you. No, there we go. I think the issue is... Oh my god, I love the How to Kill a Geologist video, because that is absolutely me. I would pull that shit, like, absolutely. If someone were to say some shit to me, like, fucking, wow, obsidian is my favorite mineral, I would fucking go off on them, and then they would have time to strike at me with an obsidian knife and kill me. Because I am easily rage-baited by things that I'm passionate about. Obsidian is not a mineral, actually. It is a mineraloid because it has an indefinite chemical composition, because lavas can have different compositions. It is not an organized crystalline structure. It is glass. Yeah, mud is not a mineral either. It does not have a definite chemical composition. It is liquid at room temperature usually, because mud incorporates water. Let's see. It's totally a mineral. Toho, I'm killing you. I'm finding you. I will find you. baseball bat wind-up sound. So true. If I can eat it, it's a mineral. Honestly, go right ahead. Be my guest. I think I gotta desaturate this some more. That green gave me an idea for a character? Ooh, really? They're green for this amazing reason. Green screen eyes. Their eyes are whatever is going on in there. But that's actually a really cool idea. I like that. You should use that for something. I expect royalties. I'm not gonna use it. I don't really have any characters that would work well with it. Or any ideas for it, so I certainly will not. Hold on, I gotta set that opacity down so I can see what I'm doing here. Giving this motherfucker the stereotypical furry hairstyle where it's just a tuft of hair over the front. Because I'm so bad at hairstyles. Like, 90% of my hairstyles for characters are just over one eye. One that has male pattern baldness, they have fur underneath. They don't go bald. This is not how that works. Canastrians do not bald. Well, if they're going bald, they don't have fur? What? There we go. Dogs don't go bald. That is not a thing that can happen. Minecraft.
I'm playing Joma. Oh, that's just one more ASIM, right? This game is honestly hard as fuck because the survivors have different move speeds, but the lore goes so hard. Hell yeah. I am going to just... Yeah, Roblox might be cooked. Enjoy it while you can. It's been progressively getting more and more cooked. Okay, let's see here. What other notes should I make about the Canastrians? Probably about the eyes. Oh, I should make a note on the ears. Ears are always floppy. But yeah, that's one thing I have not mentioned about the Canastrians. All Canastrians have the triangular floppy ears. None of them have, like, German Shepherd style standing up ears. I just don't think it fits the species very well. Plus, I like floppy ears better. They look cute. Oh my god, dude, I cannot fucking write today. Softer, there we go. Round snouts. I want to talk about stuff, but I'm so stuck in my own head right now, so I can't. That's fair. I've been there a lot. I totally understand. I really hope things are able to clear up for you soon, Toho. There we go. that. Hmm. There we go. Let's see, is there anything else I need to clarify? Is there anything about canastrian anatomy that y'all think I need to clarify on this diagram? I'm not entirely sure, so please do let me know. Because I'm trying to figure out, like... I need to lock the fuck in and write better, oh my god. There we go. Okay, got that written. Let's see, so I got 5 fingers per hand specified, 4 toes per paw. I've got the fur patterns. Colors can significantly vary. Claws on the fingers. Tails are large, I suppose. If I can write, for fuck's sake. Let's see. Tails are always large and fluffy. Rear do claws only. Not sure what else to specify on here. Like, I feel like this is pretty comprehensive. If anyone is still watching, can you, like, let me know and tell me if this all makes sense or if there's anything else I should add on here? Because I want to be able to make this so people can, like, make their own Canastrian OCs. But I don't know for sure if this is actually, like, looking comprehensive enough or not, so please do tell me. Oh, I should definitely add on here that Canastrians tend to have, like, chubbier builds because their planet is pretty cold. I think I should also add something about their height range, too. Let me sit back upright again. Oh my goodness. There we go. I added something about their height.
I got that written down. I think this is pretty comprehensive to the Canastrians. So I do think, actually, I'm going to put my little pin down here. I'm going to stick my drawing tablet back under. I'm going to save that file, export it as a PNG. I am going to close out Akrita. I'm going to stop the music. And I am going to set us to our ending soon stream. Or ending stream soon. And then I'm going to just reload my fucking stream manager because it's tweaking the hell out. I don't know if anyone's still around. I have 2 viewers, so I guess so. Let me see if anyone's that I'm following is live. Let's hashtag take a look. Yeah. We could... Let's go raid Miss Jackie CR. She's going to be playing Recoin. There's only like 2 of y'all still watching my stream, but like, whatever. I don't really care about view count at this point, but I appreciate all y'all stopping in. I hope you folks have a great rest of your day. I will probably see you again tomorrow. But yeah, please head on over and give Miss Jackie CR some of your views and attention if you can. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.